I ended up actually switching from art history to studio art. 5 years into the master's program in art history, I switched to studio art. Part of it is because I realized that, I'm less of a scholar and more of an artist myself, and I didn't want to write about other people's art. I wanted to concentrate on my own. When I switched to studio art, that, totally changed my life. I went into studio art when I applied for the studio art program at Cal State University Northridge. I took my paintings in, but I also explained about Second Life and what Second Life is and involves, and the professor who was my advisor and mentor in the painting program in Second Life was blown away by what Second Life is. Or I'm sorry, she was my painting professor at the university. She was blown away by what Second Life is. And she told me later on that she accepted me into the program based on Second Life and not my paintings, which I don't have. So I lost all this weight, and I looked really good, but, and I guess I felt good. But I still had body issues. Even at 160 pounds, I thought I was overweight. I thought, I didn't like my body. Since then, I'm working on those issues, and I'm, bringing so much, I'm eating a lot more and, working out those issues, and unfortunately I've gained all that weight back and then some. And I'm still working through those issues. And that's kind of where the story of my project begins. I was talking with my professor about, my avatar, and she, started to kind of, I don't know, she brought up the idea of the avatar as a self-portrait. And from that, my head just started spinning, and I started researching, and I was like, oh my God, that's it. Gracie is my self-portrait. Artists from, the past have totally, taken their self-portraits and, put them into fantasy situations. They've, Marcel Duchamp, one of his self-portraits was his alter ego, Odyssey la vie, which was a Jewish woman. So, it totally, I started researching that, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to concentrate on. That's my art right now, is my self-portrait. I had never done one before. In the whole 12 years I've been painting, I've never done a self-portrait, mainly because most of my art is abstract. How your avatar affects your real life. There was an avatar on a treadmill, and, the person behind the avatar later on wanted to exercise, wanted to run on a treadmill. So they were doing these studies that, about how, the avatar affects you physically. And I'm sure most of us can definitely, relate to that in some way or another. So I kind of wanted to see if it was true. I also wanted to start kind of mixing realities. And bringing Gracie and I'm Kris in real life, bringing us together. And, and I kind of wanted to, I've never been anonymous in Second Life. I've always had my real life name out there. When I first started Second Life, a couple of my friends had said, don't tell anybody who you are. There's stalkers all over the place. Be very careful. But then I was like, well, first of all, I'm an artist. I want to get my art out there, so I can't remain anonymous. And, it depends on who you hang out. Got my nails done. I, did some things that Gracie would do, which I would do in real life, but go, see my art. Went to Venice Beach, where, I was going to go to Venice Beach here in Second Life, but, or I have been to Venice Beach, but I didn't quite get pictures, and so forth. So it was definitely this was a performance that I did. There's a video that I did, on the whole performance, and it's kind of a documentary video. It's on the blog. In March, or I think it's March or April. You can check it out. And this was just a comic that I did from that performance. I called the performance, and I called some portraits after it Finding Grace, or Finding Gracie, because I was looking for my inner Gracie. I think that's kind of what it boiled down to. And so I really like that comic. And then, let's see, there's just a couple more comics here. Dealing with my, comparing the real life art, just the differences and similarities that Gracie and I have, dealing with the virtual and the virtual and real worlds. And then I mentioned that, mixing realities, I, wanted to bring myself into Second Life. And I did that. I had somebody create an avatar based on my real life. And in this comic, and I hope they're rezzing fast enough for you, in this comic, the avatar on the left is actually me. Her name is Kris Schomaker in Second Life. I contacted Linden Labs and I paid extra to have my real life name. I had somebody create an avatar based on my size and shape and real life height. I found hair, and I'm wearing the same clothes that Gracie does, which is what I would wear in real life. And so I wanted to, again, like I said, kind of mix the realities, see what it felt like to have, an avatar based on my real life self in Second Life. And with that, I did a performance that I'll show you in a couple minutes here. And then towards the end of the project, or towards the end of the comics anyway, I think the comics ended like day 158. I just had too much going on with finishing my thesis.